Okay, first move we're going to do here is gluteal contractions. Gluteal contractions are a way to get the glutes firing and turn them back on after you've been sitting for a period of time. So I'm sitting here imprinting with my back. That means I cannot stick the fingers underneath the small of my back, and my back is flat as a pancake. And from here, with a shoulder width stance with the feet, I'm going to squeeze my glutes together and release. Squeeze, release. On a scale of 1 to 10, I want you at an 8. So it's a good hard squeeze and release. You gals, think of this move somewhat as a Kegel. You're activating your lower pelvic floor, but notice my hips are not moving up off the ground. I'm keeping my hips on the ground. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, gluteal contractions. All right. Next move we're going to do is going to be a block press. It can be done with a book that's about 4 inches or 10 centimeters wide. A yoga block is a perfect tool to use for this. But I'm going to place it between the knees. Up at the top of the knees is your vastus medialis, and that's what we're going to be pressing in on. Just outside of shoulder width with the feet, I lay back down, I imprint with the back once again, and I squeeze, release, squeeze, release. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at that 8 again. About a second on, and then a second or second and a half off. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. This is block press, and this is designed to be one of 2 exercises we'll be doing that's going to pull the head of the iliac crest back into a neutral position. Next move we're doing here is a belt press. It can be done with anything that you tie the legs into position at the top of the knees here, right across vastus medialis, and I want about a 4-inch gap or a fist width in between your legs here. I'm going to separate the legs to be just outside of hip width here, and then I'm going to take it back on down, and I'm going to imprint with the back once again, and I press out and I release. Press out and release. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a solid 8 with this. After a minute and a half, you will feel this deep in your pelvis. And this again is an exercise to move the heads of the iliac crest back into a neutral position. Next move we're going to be doing is a shoulder drill, and this is designed to increase the length and we'll say the flexibility of your shoulder. I'm going to link fingers directly over the top of my chest, untuck pelvis once again here. Over the top of the chest, I'm going to exhale and lower everything all the way to the ground. I'm going to inhale and bring it back on. Super important to maintain that flat back on the ground and lower over the top of your head. For some of you, the tendency is going to want to be to bend the elbows. I want them locked out and just go as low as what your shoulder girdle says is safe for you right now. Emphasize using the breath to increase the range of motion. You do that with a diaphragmatic breath in the nose, out the mouth, nice and slowly. Next drill we're going over here is a shoulder strengthening drill. This is actually going to strengthen rhomboids, which are right about here on your upper back. And we're going to strengthen those so we can pull the heads of the deltoid back into a neutral position, because so many people struggle with a kyphotic spine. So subtly hunched over, forward head flexion. This is one of the #1 things you can do to have the muscles that were designed to pull the head of that shoulder back into a neutral position. I get back on the ground again, neutral pelvis, shoulder width with legs. I'm going to take the elbows out, a 90 from the body, and the hands, a 90 from the elbows. From here, I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades towards my spinal column. You can hear the change in my voice, and I'm going to release. There's going to be a tidbit of chest extension or thoracic extension. That's exactly what's supposed to happen while staying imprinted with that back on the ground. And that's specifically lower back. This is a good solid squeeze at we'll say a solid 9 on this, and release. It's almost a feeling of picking up a pencil in between your shoulder blades, and then you release. Squeeze, release, and those are scapular retractions. This move is called side-lying leg lifts. This is an old Jane Fonda move with a couple of twists on it. But this is designed specifically to strengthen glute medius and minimus. Those are muscles that attach to the rear of your lumbar and iliac crest. I'm going to lay on the ground perfectly straight here. This is super important that I take my leg behind the center line of my body. So if I look down at my toes and I know that I'm straight, I can now keep my neck neutral. I'm going to raise my foot 15 to 20 inches and back down. Internal rotation of my foot along with dorsal flexion. I'm not pointing my toe, I'm bringing it towards my nose. 15 to 20 inch raises, this is the move. If you're doubting it, stick your finger into the small upper portion of your buttocks and you're going to feel it turn into a big muscle. And this is one of the best things you can do, period, to start strengthening the rear of your posterior core. Next move we're going to do is another posterior core move. This is specifically works with the glutes, but it's going to hit quadratus laborum and erector spinae among other things also. I'm going to go back into the same position that we've been practicing here. Shoulder width stance, neutral pelvis, and from here I am going to engage with glutes, going to feel them engage, press into my heels, and lift on up until I'm a straight line from my shoulders to my knees. I'm focusing on pulling navel into spine and glute engagement. I like to have my clients at the top of this move squeeze their glutes to a 10 on that scale of 1 to 10 and slowly release. Bring it on up, squeeze, slowly release. Bring it on up, navel to spine, squeeze those glutes, slowly release. Phenomenal strengthening move to posterior core, and it's super safe.